Hey you guys, so here's the gear for today. I'm going to be using the same razor, the titanium chiseled face Legacy. This is the kind of machined version, the raw finish, and I like the quality. I like the tolerances, the workmanship. Everything fits together really well. I think it's a pretty razor. The handle here has been working just fine in terms of shaving and practicalities with grip and things like that. And let's put another blade in it. 7 o'clock black has done well for me in many razors. So let's do that. And Zingari Mann, and this is in the vegan base. This is the Traditionalist. I ordered got a good deal off something on Maggard's near Black Friday, and I decided, hey, let's also throw in some samples. And I had never tried, and this scent sounds really good. The write-up about it, you can see in the description of the video, or go to Zingari Mann's website, look for the Traditionalist. It was talking about how there's so much change in the world, and if you need something more stable, if you need something to be the way you've always done it, then the Traditionalist is what you want. The three items she mentions on the actual label are sandalwood, musk, and pepper. If you look at the description written up, it's a scent developed by Sean Maher of Maher Olfactory. He also does Chatillon Luxe as well, and he's just well known for, and I have experienced many of his scents through the Declaration Grooming collaborations and Spearhead Shaving, Seaforth collaborations, and just like so many of his scents. And so that speaks highly about this guy right here. And there were a bunch of notes, some woody things, and obviously some pepper. Some citrus top note was definitely mentioned, so we'll just kind of see how it pans out. The brush for today is a Indigo Kanorado PK-47 handle from Paladin, and I haven't used them too many times, but when I had it, some of the notes that I made immediately were kind of tight density at the middle, but I was really enjoying the tips and stuff on the outside. We'll give it a few more chances and see how I like it. Now this is the vegan base. It's not the Sego base. And I looked in my notes, and I just had a couple of instances where I'd used this base before, and it looked like I should probably use a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon, and so that's what you're looking at here. I did a kind of a flat quarter teaspoon, then I added a little bit extra. I'm going to press that into the bottom of my lather bowl here. You'll also notice I've got a baseball hat on today, and I figure, hey, why not? It's late, and I don't really want you guys to look at my hair. All right, so let's press this into the bottom. All right, so there we go. A little bit more than a quarter teaspoon pressed into the bottom. Very soft base, so it spreads easily. The only problem I've ever had with Zingari Mann has been the scent strength. This vegan base, I was looking at my notes, and I made very complimentary notes about this base. I think Seafarer might have been the soap that I tried previously, and just had great things to say about the performance of it. So I'm looking forward to that today. And of course the Sego base, wonderful performance. But Heather is the kind of the everything behind Zingari Mann, and she is a really learned skincare professional. That's her goal. That's her priority. That's seems to be what is kind of central to her products and all that. And so unfortunately, one of the things that sometimes people with that focus have to do is back off on the scent part of the aspect, the intensity of it, because a scent that's too intense can bother people's skin. And so some people want their stuff to apply and work well for as many people as possible. That was kind of the idea behind Stubble Buster, made by Groomatorium a while back. And unfortunately, it meant I couldn't really use any of their products. Nice value, great value for the money, great nice performance, but I couldn't really smell any of the scents while I was using them. All right, so, and that's kind of been the way. Here's the 7 o'clock black, super platinum. It's kind of been the way it's been with some of Zingari's stuff. If I stick my nose in the bowl of lather, then I can get the scent. It's not going to be strong, but it'll be there, you know. But it's just when I'm shaving, and mostly it's just not really a big part of the experience, to my nose at least. And so this razor does kind of bend the blade into the top kappa a little bit differently than most razors, and I have found several times how I do have to be careful and pull the blade out of the top cap. It definitely doesn't fall out after the end of the shave. Not a problem for anybody who leaves the blade in the razor until they're done with it, you know, 10, 5, 30 times, whatever it is. Then you're not changing the blade too many times, right? All right. But for me, I usually take it in and out per shave. Takes a little bit more effort with this particular head design. The blade tends to, they could probably improve it, because you see from here to here, the little bolt there coming from the top cap is threaded, and it doesn't need to be, right? It could be solid, smooth from here to here, and then it only needs a thread once you're going to start engaging the handle down here. And so that could help then the blade not to stick in place. All right, I'm going face wet. Pretty sure we're looking at 2 days of growth here. All right, cold water. It's late at night and the water's cold. I'm going to be using from the hot tap, and it'll start out cold for a while, you know, until the hot gets up here. And then I'll bring in some cool water as well. And my goal is not to get to hot water, but just to bring it up to kind of room temperature. We'll pan you down so that we can work on the lather. The PK-47 handle, as you can kind of see, is a bit on the short side, and so my fingers do get messy often with this type of handle. I tried the Chief handle with Paladin, and it didn't sit right. I've got the Clio handle, and I might try that one some more. I don't know that it's too much better than the PK-47 here. It's not any more comfortable, but it might have a little bit more throw, more distance between my fingers and the lather. Yeah, it's pretty light. See, there's not much going on, but it could be that we just haven't added enough water yet. Yeah, we're starting to look a little better. Getting a little bit more volume, not tons. Looks pretty wet, so it makes you wonder, should I add any more water? I've been playing with the Barrister and Mann Omnibus base the last 3 shaves. And that's been my first experience with that. And it is a low viscosity type base. No, maybe high viscosity is the right way. Low structure, high viscosity, where it just stays kind of gluey and goopy. There we go. We're starting to build up now. And so you've got to be careful and not let it trick you into thinking it's ready when it's really not. Needs more water. I figure I'd take a break and try something else, and so we're stepping into a Zingari Man with a scent that I was really curious about. Boy, yeah, it's just so light. Now my nose is a little stuffy, but I really kind of think I should be getting more scent than that. I mean, what I'm smelling is pleasant. There's woodiness to it. But honestly, it's just so faint. There's just, you know, there's maybe a spice in there or something, but it's just so low scented. I think I tried the Rambler. Is another Zingari scent sample that I got that came with this one as well. Yeah, look at that lather. There we go. Just took some mixing. Started out, didn't look like it was going to amount to much. This may be kind of typical for Zingari for me. There's not much scent going on. However, I'm going to enjoy the performance of the lather. You can see, look, it's got some structure there. Look at it holding itself up. Because of that, I went ahead and added a little bit more water. Bring it down from the walls because we want to get a good consistent mix and not let any of the dry stuff stay up on the walls. I think we're about ready to go. And since this brush has some density kind of at its core, I don't think I'm going to try to push this guy to its kind of hydration limits. We'll use it as is. It may be perfect, maybe a little on the slightly dry side, relatively speaking, but we'll just see what we get. It's a very cold and bracing rinse there, putting some water on my face. Nice soft tips, but it is kind of maintaining that ball with lots of backbone. Probably pushed a little too much water into my lather here for this brush. You can kind of see how it's thinned out. Let's just kind of go back in and get some more lather. She's got a good high performance level with this soap, and so even if it's thin, it'll still perform very well. Yeah, I fixed it right up. Just needed a little bit more lather. Spend a few minutes working it into my skin. Helps with protection. This razor, this will be maybe my 4th try with it. Definitely not an immediate fan of it. Some interesting things happened in the first use, where that third pass, I kind of expected it to have this aggressive feel and kind of an irritation generation aspect to it on the third pass, and it didn't. However, that kind of did come back around last time I used it, and so today I am expecting it to knock down these 2 passes easily, because it's done that before. But then I'm probably just going to stick with 2 passes. What did I say just now? 2 days of growth is what I'm expecting it to knock down easily, and I'm expecting just to do 2 passes of shaving, because that third pass just seems to give me irritation last time. Now, the good thing is I used some Thayer's Witch Hazel. It didn't really take anything even as hefty as a balm to fix that kind of irritation, but it just wasn't something I want to bring into my shave every day, that level of irritation. So we're going to see what happens if I just do 2 passes, and maybe what if it does such a good job on those 2 passes that then I don't have any of the negative effects of the irritation, because I'm not taking it too far, not over shaving perhaps. So let's just try it out. It does have, in case you haven't seen any other videos with this, these safety bars here just stick out way farther than other similar razors. And I think what that just forces you to do is ride the cap, have a more open handle angle, a smaller blade angle than other aggressive razors. And so it helps you in that regard. But in the end, at its heart, it's still kind of an aggressive razor. Now I am getting hints here of the kind of the woody scent and that kind of thing. So that's good. At least there's some hints going on. And I usually mount my camera here slightly to the side. So right now it's kind of more in the middle, and it's kind of in my way. I can't see the mirror. No tugging here as I'm mowing through the grass. So that's nice. And my neck area is more sensitive, of course. It's kind of typical. I'm being sure to stay mostly with the grain. There we go. Very comfortable first shave. Not really a scrapey feeling. It moved through the hair pretty easily. So pretty comfy. Nice creamy feel during the rinses there, so that's got a good vibe to it. Charge up the brush, fill the insides of the knot there with lather. As you can see, nice glossy looking lather, attractive, creamy looking. Ashamed to only do 2 passes, but I don't really feel like that tempting that irritation. By the way, this is a razor that HD Shaves has evaluated and really kind of liked the way it worked and the different kind of shave that it provided. Talked to me about thought maybe I might like it. And then friend Walden, a YouTube viewer and Redditor as well, said, hey man, I've got that razor, you want to try it out? I said, man, that'd be great. The fact that it has a lot of blade overhang before you get to the blade edge. Sorry, my camera doesn't really help you to see that. But there's maybe 7 millimeters of overhang here, and so it's not getting a lot of clamping from the bottom. That aspect has, I've seen that in a good many razors, and I so often find that means I don't usually enjoy that razor experience. The edge is not firm, it kind of chattery, scrapey sounding and feeling as it goes across, and so then the edge, if it's scrapey feeling, if it's giving us some audio comes from vibration. What's vibrating? The only thing that can be vibrating is the edge, the blade edge. And so if the edge is vibrating across your skin, then that means it's going up and down across your skin. And to me, that seems like that is not as smooth as it could be. So we'll go cross grain now. The good news is that I'll bet this razor is easily capable of taking care of business here in only 2 passes. I don't think I'm going to really need a 3rd pass, honestly. Any razor that I would only do 2 passes probably isn't one I'm going to use a whole lot. I kind of like 3 passes. I mean, it's like a spa day. Who doesn't want to feel those awesome badger or boar tips on their skin? More the merrier. So 3 passes of shaving is better than 2 passes of shaving, right? Now that I've gotten a good rinse, except for that little spot up here, I definitely don't feel the irritation immediately that I felt last time I shaved with this razor. It's a little unfair of me to switch blades. I really probably should have kept the same blade if I'm going to drop off a pass to see if it helps with irritation, because if I do have irritation now, then it could be the blade that's the problem and not the number of passes. But I did want to try more blades with this razor, and right now I don't feel too much irritation at all, only just maybe a tiny little bit, but it's not a bother. It's not something that would cause me to put aside this razor and not use it very much. So that's cool. So now let me check the closeness. A good many tips in my trouble spot have a little bit of length on them, a little bit of visible length. I think most jobs would be fine with that. They would look at my shave and not really think, hey, he didn't get a good shave. Obviously, a higher profile job, you need something a little nicer. And so then you would need to either go for that 3rd pass, in which case I would probably just opt for another razor and just not use this one anymore. But in terms of, it's just that this is such a sensitive area. I mean, it's possible for that 2nd pass, maybe I could have done a little bit more skin stretching, that kind of thing. Matter of fact, why don't we try that? Get that wet area just a little bit wet. I'm risking some irritation, but let's just see what happens. I'm not going to do cross grain, or I'm going to stick with the grain, because that's kind of the point. But I'm going to do a better job of stretching my skin, not overstretching. All right. And we'll see if that takes care of that stubble sometimes with an aggressive razor, I end up with a less close shave because that aggression brings around so much irritation. It causes me to back off and not get that great shave. This is a young blade. I think it's only had 2 uses. I think I see a couple of red spots. Okay. I didn't really feel any irritation there, so that's good. I might kind of work the area over since I'm doing it with the grain. There's a lot more room for kind of touch-ups because I'm not being risky with my angles there. My neck right here, boy, if I were to go against the grain right now, I think somehow the blade is going to get under hairs that are just laying over almost parallel to the skin and lift them up in this way that kind of brings the skin up into the blade. And oh man, it's just so irritating, and often I get cuts and stuff like that. Many times I have to, almost always, I have to avoid the against the grain pass. Only with a super smooth razor that has already done a wonderful job cutting can I try it. All right, how much water did I use? A little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon of soap and 15 milliliters of water, so it didn't take too much. I do smell. I do have even right now, I am getting faint whiffs of kind of a some woody notes. So, I mean, if I was stuck somewhere, this would be better than many soaps, like some of the more kind of medicinal or traditional soapy pieces. I would probably enjoy this faint hint of tobacco and woody kind of soap. I like it better than just a generic kind of shaving product, but it's still quite faint, and so we just have so many other options available to us, to me, and so looks like this unfortunately kind of falls in the wayside with the grouping of other Zingari Man scents that again are going to be great for people who have skin sensitivity issues, for people who just by their own preference like low strength scents, and that's who's going to really appreciate her whole line of shaving soaps, and there's nothing wrong with that. Be kind to people's skin. There are tons of people out there with sensitive skin, with truly sensitive skin. All right, yeah, let me get a good rinse now that I did that touch up. A lot of guys claim to have sensitive skin when they start this kind of wet shaving. Some do, but I think it's the minority. I think what a lot of guys mistake as sensitive skin is crappy technique, poor lather. Either they didn't mix it up very well, and so it's not performing adequately, or it's a crappy soap, because eBay and Amazon and other places are rife with bad soaps out there. And some of them are actually good intentions, but just bad performers. I checked out this one local provider of soap, and I like the smell of it, but she had so many skin nourishing ingredients in her shave soap that it didn't lather very well, and it didn't protect me while it was on my face. But then there are also shysters out there who make junk soap and trick people into buying it by telling good stories about it and that sort of thing. Because, I mean, who wants to do tons of research to find out which soaps are really good, because there are tons of them out there. So a lot of guys have, and then they have poor technique, or bad razors that make them think they have sensitive skin. That's my point. All right, well, I do have a little bit more irritation and tenderness right here. I think I see a little bit of redness, but not a whole lot. And I firmly believe that after several minutes with a good balm like Hallows from Barrister and Mann, I think it is going to take care of and mend all things wrong with my skin here. I think I used this the other day, and some of the interesting pieces of the note profile stuck around, and they kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. I can't remember what they were. They weren't my favorite part of the scent, but they were the things that lasted the longest. It was kind of interesting. So I'll have to see if maybe that happens again. Now, as I'm applying this, I'm feeling a little bit, kind of activating a little bit of that tenderness right there. But so what we'll do is we'll get a little bit more product and just make sure that this sensitive area here, tender area there, gets some good coverage. Get a little bit extra balm. And I use so little of this because I don't want it to be just heavy on me. I have an oily complexion already. It's going to last forever. Oh, what a great scent. Nice. Okay. 15 milliliters of water used, a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon of soap used. I would have had plenty enough for 3 or 4 passes of lather if I would have needed it. The brush, still undecided about it. I'll have to play with it more. I am enjoying the soft tips of this one. I think if you look in the description, if you're curious about the knot code of this particular brush, it will tell you in the description. If it doesn't, please somebody make the remark and I'll add that in, because Paladin knots tend to vary quite a bit, almost like declaration grooming batches, batch numbers. And so one Paladin badger compared to another Paladin badger could be totally different because they have different knot codes. So the Traditionalist is a nice scent, the faint, spicy, woody, tobacco-y kind of hint that I was getting every once in a while. Not strong enough for me to enjoy the soap in general, but I would enjoy it if I needed to, if I didn't really have any other options, because there were hints of it kind of floating around in the air that I would catch every once in a while. Also, hey, cool little trivia. I really enjoy this type of case. Got it for just several dollars on AliExpress. And it has 2 compartments. You can put a blade tuck down here, or if you have a razor that has multiple heads, you can put the other head or the other base plate down here. Then your primary head goes up here, and then they've got room for the little bolt to stick out. And then your handle goes over here on this side. Well, this is on loan from Walden, and he sent it to me with a little washer between the handle and the head. Little nylon washer. See, you can see how much of the blade there, the printing, you can see that's that overhang that's unsupported that I was telling you about. So he uses this nylon washer. Well, of course, I want to respect that. He didn't want the handle to make scratches on the bottom of its head here. And I've been wondering, and I found out that the head can still be put in to this kind of situation, and the washer will stay in place, because as you can see, there's not enough room for the washer to start to come off the threading, because this guy kind of hugs around the bolt. So that will work in travel. I haven't done extensive travel with that as a test, but preliminary says that I could use it that way. So I'm going to rinse this guy nicely. Grateful to Walden for providing that. I was always curious about it because several folks did remark about how it was just kind of a different animal compared to a lot. Well, that's today. Take care. I hope there's something here for you. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. And hey, after giving this brush a good drying, good rinsing and a sling out there, you can see how dense it is. And it has these nice soft tips that don't get really very jelly at all. The backbone here, pretty tight. It does not spring back completely to where it started out, but there's so much hair here that you can definitely feel kind of that ball as you're using it. I'm going to try more uses. I really enjoy this blue handle here. The Indigo Kanorado, and what am I saying? Yeah, Kanorado, very good. So I love the color here. I believe I got this one from Mammoth, from Ben at Mammoth, House of Mammoth. He used it and decided to pass it on. So really, I kind of want to like it. I want to like the knot. If it does relax and kind of open up more, but I'm going to try it more, see where it lands. And I think that was all we need to cover. Oh, one last thing. I forgot to remark about the lather. Top notch. A little bit more on the wet side of perfect, but really pretty darn close to perfect. All it took was getting a little bit more from the bowl to help that first kind of effort there to be fine, and then it was great after that. Performance was excellent. Glide, very nice with this lather. So again, performance is high with this vegan base from Zingari Man. All right, I think that's it for me. Take care, guys. Good night.